You do not need to be a hardcore hiker to stand in front of a waterfall so powerful it shakes the ground beneath your feet. Some of America's most jaw-dropping waterfalls are just a few hundred feet from a parking lot, on flat paved paths that almost anyone can handle. So which national parks make it ridiculously easy to witness these natural wonders? That is exactly what we are covering today. Let us start with the question people ask the most. Can you really see a world-class waterfall without a strenuous hike? Absolutely. Several national parks and federally managed areas have invested heavily in accessible infrastructure, and the result is that some of the tallest and most dramatic waterfalls on the continent are reachable on paths shorter than a quarter mile with minimal elevation change. You just need to know where to go and when to show up. First on the list, and arguably the most iconic, is Yosemite National Park in California. Yosemite Falls is the tallest waterfall in North America, plunging 2,425 feet in 3 separate tiers. Now, if you want to hike to the top, that is a brutal 7-mile round trip with nearly 3,000 feet of elevation gain. But here's the secret. The lower Yosemite Fall Viewpoint Trail is a completely different experience. It is a paved loop of roughly 1 mile, mostly flat, and it delivers you right to the base of the lower fall, which itself drops 320 feet. The trailhead starts at the Yosemite Falls shuttle stop, and the path is wheelchair accessible for much of its length. You will feel the mist on your face without breaking a sweat. The best time to visit Yosemite Falls is late April through June. That is when snowmelt from the Sierra Nevada peaks fills the falls to their maximum volume. By late summer, especially in drier years, the falls can slow to a trickle or stop entirely. If you want the spectacle, spring is your window. As for crowds, weekday mornings before 10 are your best bet. The Yosemite Valley can get extremely congested on summer weekends, and parking near the falls fills up fast. Consider taking the free park shuttle from other points in the valley to avoid the parking headache altogether. There are restrooms and benches along the paved loop, making it comfortable for visitors who need to rest frequently. Real visitors consistently rave about this accessibility. One reviewer on a popular travel forum described bringing her 82-year-old mother to the lower Yosemite Fall viewpoint in a wheelchair and said the experience brought her mom to tears. Another visitor recovering from knee surgery wrote that the paved path let him enjoy one of the greatest natural sights in the world without any pain. These are not rare stories. This is what thoughtful trail design makes possible. Next, let us head to the Pacific Northwest and talk about Multnomah Falls. Technically, Multnomah Falls sits within the Columbia River Gorge National Scenic Area in Oregon, which is managed by the U.S. Forest Service, but it is often grouped with national park destinations because of its stature and its federal management. And for good reason. Multnomah Falls is the tallest waterfall in Oregon at 620 feet, cascading in 2 major tiers down a moss-covered basalt cliff. It is the single most visited natural recreation site in the entire state. What makes Multnomah Falls extraordinary for accessibility is that the viewing area at the base is literally steps from the parking lot. You walk roughly 200 feet on a paved path, and you are staring up at this enormous curtain of water. If you want a slightly closer look, the Benson Bridge sits about 1/5 of a mile from the trailhead, crossing in front of the falls at the junction between the upper and lower tiers. The path to the bridge is paved, but does include some mild uphill sections and a few stairs, so it is not fully wheelchair accessible, but it is manageable for most visitors with limited mobility who can handle a gentle incline. The base viewpoint, however, is fully accessible. Unlike Yosemite Falls, Multnomah Falls flows year-round because it is fed by underground springs in addition to rain and snowmelt. That said, the most dramatic flow happens between February and May. Winter visits can be magical too, with ice formations clinging to the rock face, but trails may be slippery. Summer is the driest and most crowded season. If you visit between October and early December, you will find fewer people and still plenty of water. Parking at Multnomah Falls has been managed through a timed reservation system in recent years during peak months, so check the Forest Service website before you go. Restrooms and a historic lodge with a restaurant are right at the base, which makes this one of the most comfortable waterfall experiences you will find anywhere. Now, if you are enjoying this deep dive into America's most accessible waterfalls, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to National Park Secrets. We bring you insider tips on the best experiences across the national park system every single week, and subscribing makes sure you never miss one. Alright, let us move east to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, straddling the border of Tennessee and North Carolina. The Smokies are the most visited national park in the country, and they are absolutely loaded with waterfalls. Over 100 of them, in fact. While some require serious backcountry trekking, several are wonderfully accessible. Let us start near the Clingman's Dome area. Clingman's Dome itself is the highest point in the park at 6,643 feet. And while the Observation Tower Trail is a steep half-mile paved climb, the road that takes you up there, Clingman's Dome Road, passes through an area rich with cascades. One of the easier waterfalls to access in this region of the park is not right at the dome, but along the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail near Gatlinburg. Place of 1,000 Drips is a roadside cascade visible directly from your car during rainy periods, and Grotto Falls is reachable via a moderate 2.6-mile round-trip trail that, while not paved, is well maintained and only has about 500 feet of elevation change. For something even easier, head to Laurel Falls. This is arguably the most popular waterfall hike in the entire park, and for good reason. The trail is 2.6 miles round trip and fully paved. The elevation gain is gentle, around roughly 300 feet spread over the entire distance, making it feel more like a walk than a hike. At the end, you reach Laurel Falls, an 80-foot waterfall that splits around a rock ledge in a beautiful horseshoe shape. The paved surface makes it accessible for strollers and some wheelchair users, though there are a few steeper pitch sections where assistance might be needed. The best seasons for waterfall viewing in the Smokies are spring, particularly March through May, when rainfall is abundant, and early winter after heavy rains. Summer can be hit or miss depending on precipitation. Fall brings spectacular foliage framing the waterfalls, but water volume tends to be lower. Crowds at Laurel Falls are heaviest from June through October on weekends. Early morning arrivals, before 8:30, are strongly recommended. Parking at the Laurel Falls trailhead is limited to a small pull-off area on Little River Road, and it fills up fast. Visitors with mobility challenges have shared positive experiences here. One account described a father pushing his daughter's wheelchair along the Laurel Falls Trail and reaching the waterfall without major difficulty, calling it one of the best family moments they had ever shared in a national park. Let us also talk about Yellowstone National Park. Most people think of geysers when they think of Yellowstone, but the park has some spectacular and highly accessible waterfalls too. The Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone features two major falls. The Upper Falls drops 109 feet, and the Lower Falls plunges 308 feet, nearly twice the height of Niagara Falls. The Uncle Tom's Trail area and Artist Point provide the classic Lower Falls view. Artist Point is reached via a short paved walkway from the parking lot, roughly a few hundred yards, and it delivers one of the most photographed scenes in the entire national park system. The viewpoint is largely accessible, though the final section has a slight grade. Uncle Tom's Trail, by contrast, involves over 300 metal stairsteps and is not accessible, but you do not need it. Artist Point gives you a phenomenal perspective of the Lower Falls with almost no effort. For the Upper Falls, there's a viewpoint less than 100 yards from the brink of the Upper Falls parking area, on a short paved path. You can literally hear the thunder of the water from your car. Best viewing is June through early September, when snowmelt maximizes the flow. Parking is available at multiple overlook areas along the canyon rim, and restrooms are nearby at Canyon Village. Finally, a quick honorable mention goes to Niagara Falls State Park in New York. While not part of the National Park Service, it is a state park of such significance that it deserves a nod. The falls are visible from paved walkways immediately adjacent to the parking areas, and the observation deck puts you within feet of the brink of the Horseshoe Falls. It is perhaps the most effortless major waterfall experience in the country. So what is the takeaway here? You do not need peak fitness or days of preparation to experience waterfalls that will leave you speechless. Yosemite, Multnomah Falls, the Great Smoky Mountains, and Yellowstone all offer paths where the distance between your car and an awe-inspiring cascade is measured in minutes, not hours. Plan for the right season. Arrive early to dodge the crowds, and check accessibility details on each park's official website before your trip. Before you go, if you found this guide helpful, make sure to like this video and subscribe to National Park Secrets. We are building a community of people who want to experience the best of America's parks, no matter their fitness level or mobility. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications, and we will see you in the next one. Happy exploring.